A name that is well familiar on our channel, CVLIFE, reached out to me and asked for another unbiased review on one of the newest releases in their Red Dot series. And like no other, this Red Dot is designed for some serious abuse thanks to its body shield. Carefully floating around the outside of the Red Dot to keep it safe in case it drops. And let's not forget about its multiple reticle system. Specifically, today we're taking a look at the CVLIFE BearMight Series Multiple Reticle Auto Brightness Reflex Sight. And like I said, this is a company that I have been thrilled with every single time I've opened a box from them. Thanks to things like a consistently pleasing presentation and all the other knickknacks and doodads they include in the box. Besides the manual and the cleaning cloth, you'll also notice you get two different wrenches, the multifunctional and the hood removal wrench, the red dot and the red dot cover, an armor adapter with steel inserts on the threads to reduce the likelihood that you strip them, a Picatinny rail adapter, same thing with those thread inserts, lunch for your red dot sight, and dinner. And one of my favorite things that CVLIFE always includes is an absolute slew of mounting hardware for any mounting surface, thread pitch, length of screw, girth, you name it, they include it. It is absolutely ridiculous how set up you're going to be. Like, no other company does this. You cannot make this up. We have 15 different screw options, all pre-Loctited, and they even give you an extra instead of just two in case you lose one. Before we go any further on this review, we have to throw a battery in so we can get some power. So we'll attack the little hood on the right side and we'll pull this screw out. Pull open the battery compartment. You don't actually have to fully remove the screw, and you can see the plus side symbols on the top of the battery compartment so you know which direction to put the battery in, and the minus on the bottom. Take our CR1632 with the plus side at the top, and we'll slide that in like an old CD disc, and we'll screw it back on down. I almost forgot, there's a little logo on the side of the battery compartment that shows you what kind of batteries you need in case you forget or lose the instructions. Since we'll be mounting this red dot onto the MP7, we'll go ahead and throw on the Picatinny rail adapter. For whatever reason, the 6-32 by 10mm screws will do just fine. I don't know if these are specifically the ones you're supposed to use, but they do fit. The included pegs on the base of this are really important. It actually helps connect the plate to the red dot in 4 positions instead of just 2 with the screws, adds for better alignment. And the fact that each bolt uses a T5 bit or a T5 head is huge because they're so much less likely to strip than standard Allen bolts. This red dot comes packed full of features, and one of its huge factors is the hood and the light sensor directly in the center. But before we get to those things, let me show you the 2 buttons on the side. You have the plus and the minus, which are your power adjustment settings. Simply put, pressing the minus will dim out your reticle, and pressing the plus will make it brighter. Another really awesome feature is the tri-reticle system, where you can set it to have the 2 MOA dot and 32 MOA circle, and if you hold the plus button, you can switch that off to just have the 32 MOA circle, and if you press it again, we can switch it to just have the 2 MOA dot. Adjustments on a red dot are really important, which is why you'll notice you have your elevation adjustment on the back and your windage adjustment on the right. What's really cool is they do, in fact, click in place. I don't know if you're able to hear them, but it's a nice firm click. And in case you ever run out of power for some random reason, the back of the red dot even includes a mock rear iron sight. Now, this red dot seems like it is made for rugged environments, specifically because of the aluminum hood that it has at the top. But with the removal of these 4 flathead screws, you can actually pop this hood off. Not to mention that every one of these tiny little screws is Loctited in place. Just be mindful it is a very shallow flathead design, so the likelihood of you stripping these is pretty high. Be really careful. Don't use anything but the tool they include. With all 4 screws removed, you can see the aluminum hood, with a little bit of wiggling, pops off of the red dot. And there's your protective cover and the exposed red dot. Can't see any reason under any circumstances why you'd even want to take this off. I guess it's cool that you have the option, but I'm just going to leave it on. Now, the genius design behind that hood is the fact that it actually sits slightly above the red dot sight, and it keeps any pressure, if you were to drop it head down, away from the actual red dot sight, and puts all of that force through the sides of the red dot rather than down to the tip of the glass. Another thing I want to commend is CVLife's craftsmanship. These things always come out beautiful and feel high quality. However, there was one thing that I did notice. Specifically the setting of the glass. Usually CVLife does a beautiful job with gluing the glass up in the front. However, in this case, there's a lot of impurities and imperfections, and I'm used to seeing better from them. Now, there's two key features that I forgot to mention about this little red dot as we mount it up to the MP7. The auto on-off feature, where it will in fact turn off after 4 minutes of inactivity or inactive motion, and then its motion awake system will turn on in less than a second after it feels you start moving again. Which, let's be honest, has been a key feature of red dots nowadays for as long as I can remember, and it needs to stay that way. But it's cool that it's included. They also state this ridiculous claim that in the lowest power setting, this can run for 50,000 hours on a single battery. But, you know, we're probably just going to run it on the highest because I'm colorblind and I need brightness in order to distinguish the reticle's background against anything green or brown. So I got it set up at about 75 feet, and I'm just going to fire off into a dark patch in the distance so we can zero in our red dot, because obviously with this being BBs, we'll be able to see the trajectory and the flight path of the BBs. So we'll go ahead and get our first shot sent down. It just exploded inside of the can. Why don't we take that off? I don't know why. Maybe the hop isn't set. I might have to adjust the hop first. All right, now we're on target. Here we go. Off into the distance. Okay, so right now we're a little bit low into the left, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring us up a couple of clicks, and then we'll bring ourselves to the left. Let's see how that goes. A little better. Let's go a little further to the left, and a little further up. We're getting closer. Let's try that one more time. Just the up. We're spot on. There's really not much else to do here besides running on some targets. These are all headshot size, between 20 and 75 feet away. Here we go. No problems. So first of all, I really like the fact that this red dot is so bright, and whatever it is about it makes it really easy for someone like myself to see, because I am colorblind as a bat and I have a really hard time, like I said before, differentiating the background with the reticle. So the fact that it's got that big circle is huge because it's easier to see it and pull out from the background that's behind it, but it's also very bright and I do like that. Also, for some reason, the can just keeps obliterating the BBs, so I went ahead and took this off. So it'll make a cool noise now. That's the wrong shoulder for the job. BBs aren't going all the way up. I do really like the profile on this thing. I think it looks awesome. I think if I want to keep it on here, I'm definitely going to have to put it on a riser, though. I want to say a huge thank you to CVLife for always supporting our channel and giving us new things to check out, and kitting out my MP7. I had a blast with this one. CVLife, you always knock it out of the park, and if you haven't tested out a CVLife before, you just have to in order to understand what I'm talking about. For the price for what you get, it is just unreal. Thanks again, CVLife. I'll catch you guys in the next adventure. Peace!